What is up, guys? James Hernandez here. How's everyone doing? And for today's video, I'm going to be showing you my top 20 personal favorite video games. Now, of course, I did say in my intro when I first started YouTube, I did say that I'm going to talk about video games. So I thought, let's talk about video games today. So these video games on this list are the games that I played in my childhood and the games that I play now. Now, I'm not saying that these are the best games of all time. I'm saying that these are just my personal favorite video games. And these are the 20 video games that I enjoy playing. So this is going to be a pretty big list. So here, let me have a drink of water before we start this. Okay, let's get started. Coming at number 20 is Godzilla Save the Earth. Now you probably are wondering why Godzilla Save the Earth is at number 20. Well, it was because back then when I was young, I wasn't too crazy about Godzilla, like most people are, but I still like Godzilla as a character. Godzilla Save the Earth was the first Godzilla game that I played when I was young, and I did play Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, and I do think that Godzilla Save the Earth is a better game, and that's mainly because it has more monsters to play, and I thought the controls were better than Destroy All Monsters Melee, and it has better graphics, has better soundtrack, better stages, and all these different types of monsters that you can play as to fight other monsters like Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, even Jet Jaguar, who's pretty much like Ultraman, are very, very entertaining to play as, and I thought they were really fun playing as. I thought it was a very good game. I used to play this game for the Xbox literally every single day. It was one of my favorite Godzilla games throughout the series, so I would definitely say go check out this game if you're a Godzilla fan. Coming at number 19 is Shrek Super Slam. Shrek Super Slam is basically Super Smash Brothers, but with Shrek characters. Now, when I first played Shrek 2, the video game, I went to GameStop with my dad when I was young, and I saw Shrek Super Slam, and that really caught my eye, because the cover itself kind of looks like the game was going to be about Shrek and his friends are going to fight Prince Charming, and Prince Charming is going to be on his own. But that's not what the game is about. It's basically a fighting game. We have all the different Shrek characters in the huge arena, like Super Smash Brothers, and they will just use every slam attack that they can use on each other. And I remember playing this game with my cousin. I always played it with him every single day when I have it for the Xbox. It was really funny. I thought the graphics looks pretty dated, but I still had a great time playing it because I've been a fan of fighting games, and Shrek Super Slam is definitely one of my favorite fighting games of all time. If you're a huge Shrek fan, I would definitely say go check out this game. It's very funny, and even though it doesn't make sense, but it's very fun, especially if you like those types of games that are pretty similar to Super Smash Brothers. Number 18, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Now, hear me out, I am not the biggest fan of the Grand Theft Auto games. I know there are very beloved games, like Vice City was beloved, Grand Theft Auto 5 was beloved, and Grand Theft Auto 4 was beloved, but I really never got into Grand Theft Auto that much, as a lot of people do. But I did play I think 3 Grand Theft Auto games when I was young. I used to play Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 3, as well as Vice City Stories for the PSP. But Grand Theft Auto Vice City was the Grand Theft Auto game that I enjoy playing because I like the setup of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It looks like a fictional city version of Florida, and I thought the graphics were pretty good. And then I also really enjoyed just traveling through the world, and then I always get stars, wherever the cops are trying to get me, and then I make them fall in the water because they can't swim, because I went to the pier. It's so funny. And then I always keep my weapons. I actually manage to get away, even though sometimes I get killed off most of the time throughout the game. But Grand Theft Auto Vice City is definitely one of the Grand Theft Auto games that I enjoy playing the most. I may not be a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but Grand Theft Auto Vice City I would say it's definitely my most favorite one. Coming number 17, Sonic Rivals for the PSP. Sonic Rivals was the very first Sonic game that I played, and that's how I was introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog himself has up and downs with his video games throughout the 2000s. Like, either of them were like good, and some of them were just like not received very well by critics. But still, Sonic was growing strong. Sonic Rivals was one of my favorite Sonic games that I played for the PSP. I love playing as like one of those like characters that's like Sonic, Shadow, Silver, and Knuckles throughout the story, and it's kind of like a racing game where you have to like make it to the end before your friend does when you play as those characters. One of my favorite characters to play as in the game was Shadow the Hedgehog, and of course Shadow has been like one of my favorite characters, not just from Sonic but in video games in general, and he's also one of my favorite anti-heroes in games. So Sonic Rivals is definitely the Sonic game that I would recommend if you love PSP games with Sonic, and if you love Sonic the Hedgehog, if you love to play as other Sonic characters other than just Sonic, then this is the game I would say you should go definitely play. Coming at number 16 is Tekken 6. Now, I was a huge Tekken fan growing up. I played the very second game for the original PlayStation. I haven't played the first one or the third one, but I really do enjoy playing Tekken. It was one of my favorite fighting games growing up. So I always played Tekken 6 when I was in high school for the original. Well, not the original, the Xbox 360. Sorry. Tekken 6 was very enjoyable. I love playing as like one of those like different characters throughout the Tekken franchise. King has been one of my favorite characters to play as, and I always like beat everyone else like in school while we played this game, and then I was like this close to lose throughout the last round, but I actually eliminate them so fast. And it's so funny that one of the students, even like one of my friends in school, got so frustrated with the game when I kept beating them. No offense, guys, please don't kill me. So Tekken 6 is a really good game. I enjoy the gameplay. I thought the graphics were pretty good. The combos were so like not brutal, but they're just like over the top beatings. And it's the graphics is pretty good. It looks really nice. And I know like the previous Tekken games looks completely dated before Tekken 6 came out, but Tekken 6 I would say is one of my favorite games in the series. If you're a Tekken fan, I would definitely say go check it out. Even though like the boss fight in Tekken 6 was so difficult and I almost had game rage over it because of like I cannot beat this crystal like monster, but overall I really enjoyed Tekken 6. Coming at number 15 is Spider-Man Edge of Time. Spider-Man Edge of Time was the Spider-Man game that really gave me chills because of the fact that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, was almost about to get killed off by Anti-Venom, which is White Venom, and Miguel O'Hara has to go save him, and they all have to like work together in different portals and different worlds where they had to like battle like one of the villains from the past or even like ones from the future, and it's really enjoyable. I love Spider-Man, and I thought Miguel O'Hara is also a really cool Spider-Man, even though he is more aggressive and he's not the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man like Peter Parker is. But I do enjoy one of the boss fights. It's not really difficult, even though I did end up dying like a few times. But still, the bosses are not as hard as I thought it was. Even when I first played it as a kid, it's definitely not as difficult as I thought it was. So I love Spider-Man Edge of Time. I think it's a very good game. Go check it out. Coming at number 14 is Deadpool. Deadpool for the PlayStation 3. I love Deadpool. When I heard that Deadpool was getting his own favorite video game, my dad decided to take me to GameStop. He showed me the Deadpool game, and we watched the trailer, and then I thought the trailer was really cool. It was also very funny where, Deadpool was just like so full of himself and also being like a jackass character. and he always does pretty much like does what he has to do on his own, and he pretty much just like does not give a crap, and he's really funny. And the funniest part in the trailer is by the end where he was like, "Suck it, Wolverine," and me and my father were like, "Whoa!" It is so funny that that Deadpool just like this, just decided to be full of himself, because we all know Deadpool is Deadpool. The game was very good. I like the gameplay. I like the graphics. It was one of those like superhero games where it allows you to kill, years after the Punisher and Watchmen. And it's one of those like Marvel games I really do enjoy playing, and I'm really happy it turns out to be an M-rated game. It really makes sense because of like Deadpool is one of those like superheroes where I don't see him as a rated T game, or what was it? The rated E, everyone tented up game. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. But yeah, I'm really happy that it turns out to be an M-rated game, and the game does not disappoint me. It has a great graphics, great controls. Deadpool's voice is fantastic, and it's just a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. Coming at number 13, Jump Force. Jump Force, the anime fighting game where you have like show and jump anime characters like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, and a couple others. I always thought Jump Force was a sequel to J-Stars Victory Versus, because this is not the first like anime crossover fighting game where you have like different like anime characters from different popular animes mixed together. But it turns out that it's not really a sequel to J-Stars Victory Versus, which I kind of find it bold, because it could have been like a sequel to J-Stars Victory Versus. But anyways, this was a really good anime fighting game. I love playing as like one of my favorite anime characters like Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Trunks, Naruto, Kakashi, Sasuke. I also enjoy playing as Yugimoto, aka Yamayugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! And the graphics, like I said, and I would say the graphics looks really good. It looks very nice. The gameplay is really good. There were some like missions where I actually was like having like a difficult time to beat, because like the computer keeps like beating me so fast, and I was just like, yo, calm down. But I did manage to like finish like one of the missions in the game, and I'm really happy that I got this game for the PlayStation 4, because I did enjoy watching anime. There was not every single anime where I actually disliked, because mostly the animes I did watch, I actually really do have a good time watching. Jump Force is the anime game that I would totally recommend to anime fans, especially to fans of the Show and Jump animes, that you should definitely play. Go check it out. Coming at number 12, and that is Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy is a remake of the first two Crash Bandicoot games for the original PlayStation, developed by Naughty Dog. I did play the third and second Crash Bandicoot game for the original PlayStation. Never played the first one, but the two sequels I did play for the original PlayStation. Now, Crash Bandicoot was one of the video game characters that really got me into video games. He's one of my favorite video games. I grew up with him. I was a huge Crash Bandicoot fan as a kid. I played every single Crash Bandicoot game on each console: the PlayStation, the Xbox, for the Game Boy, and for the PSP, and then the PlayStation 4. I was a huge Crash Bandicoot fan, and I still love Crash Bandicoot. Playing these games now makes me feel like I'm a kid again, because of like the levels are like remastered. It's basically like the same game when it's like remastered, and like Crash looks pretty much a little realistic while he looks cartoony at the same time. All these platformings were pretty difficult, but they were really fun as well. And I love Crash Bandicoot as a character. I even love Dr. Cortex. He's a great villain, one of my favorite video game villains of all time. This is one of those Crash Bandicoot games I would recommend you go check out if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan. So this game will not disappoint. Coming at number 11 is SPYRO, the Regenerated Trilogy, I think that was called. SPYRO. Spyro, I did play a few Spyro games, not as much as I did Crash, but I did play the Spyro games like this game, and I used to play The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning, which is a reboot of the Spyro games, and I used to play the Spyro crossover with Crash for the Game Boy. So Spyro is also one of the video game characters that I did like. The game itself, I think it looks really gorgeous. I love like the first two Spyro, excuse me, Spyro, where he has to like fight like the villain who has been like stealing one of the dragon eggs, and then Spyro has to get it back, and then like you got all the crystals. I thought the graphics looks really beautiful, and I also really love the romance between Spyro and Allura the Fawn. I thought they were a pretty cute couple, and I really do like the redesign of Allura. I thought she looks really pretty, and she is definitely a great love interest for Spyro, in my opinion. The gameplay is really good. Like I said, I thought it was really good. The graphics are gorgeous. Spyro looks good. The mini games were also really fun. It can be pretty hard, but it's also really fun at the same time. So, if you're a Spyro fan, I would definitely say go check it out. This game will also not disappoint. All right, coming at number 10 is a horror game, and it's Friday the 13th, the game. Friday the 13th, the game, was one of those horror games that I really wanted to get because we don't usually get a lot of like video games based on classic horror movies. Now we do have like horror themed games, especially like the Walking Dead game from Telltale, but I've been wanting to see like slasher movies, being made into video games. And when I heard that Friday the 13th was coming, I wanted to get this game. And I love playing as Jason Voorhees going into Camp Crystal Lake, and he starts like slaughtering people. He kills all these camp counselors for his mother. You can also play as one of the camp counselors to survive against Jason and try to get away. I never play as one of the camp counselors, but I always love playing as Jason because Jason Voorhees is one of my favorite slasher villains in the horror movie genre. And playing as many different versions of Jason Voorhees throughout the Friday the 13th movies is great. And I thought the graphics looks pretty good. The kills, I think they're so brutal, just like in every single Friday the 13th game. And I really got chills when after you kill one of the camp counselors, you would hear Jason's mother's voice inside Jason's head, telling him to make them suffer for what they did to him, because Jason Voorhees has a tragic backstory, which we do kind of feel sorry for because, he wasn't a very smart kid. But I do think this is a really good horror movie themed video game. I really hope we'll get more in the future, like a Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Child's Play, Halloween. I heard they're going to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, so I'm really excited for that one because I would have loved to see more after this. But Friday the 13th, the game, I definitely would say go check it out. Even if you're a huge Friday the 13th fan like I am, go check out this game. All right, coming at number 9 is the most underrated game that I play for the Xbox. And I don't know if people have heard of this game, but it's Dead to Rights. Dead to Rights was the game that my dad used to play for the Xbox, and I did watch him playing the game when I was a kid. It's about this cop named Jack Slate, along with his canine partner named Shadow. They go to this mission where they had to track down the killer who is responsible for the death of his father, and he has to kill one of those thugs, which is pretty graphic and pretty interesting for a cop game. One of my favorite weapons to use is not just the guns, but I also love using the dog Shadow, where when you summon Shadow, he will jump at you, and he actually will kill you with its bite force, and you see the blood coming out, and I was just like, oh my god, for a dog like that is so brutal. But we all know that Shadow is very loyal to Jack Slate, and he will always do exactly what he tells him to do, during his mission. I think this is a very underrated game in my opinion. I'm quite surprised not many people talk about Dead to Rights or even play Dead to Rights, and I think they should because it's a very good game, and it's also one of my favorite video games growing up as a kid, and it's one of the games that my father used to play. So if you guys haven't played this game, go check it out. Coming at number 8, Injustice 2. Now, I like the first Injustice. The first Injustice is good, but I think Injustice 2 is a better game. And the reason why I say this is because I thought the graphics looks more nicer, it looks more creative. I did like the gameplay. I did like the characters you play as, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Catwoman, and so many others. And you can also play as like one of the other characters that are not from DC, but they're from different universes as well. Like they have Raiden from Mortal Kombat, they got Hellboy, and they even got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which the turtles in this game actually do look like the designs from the original Ninja Turtles live action movie from the 90s. And this is really good. I really do enjoy the gameplay, and I did play the story a little bit, but I really do like, you know, fighting the characters mostly because of like it's really fun to see many of the DC characters fighting, especially the DC characters fight the other characters like Raiden, Sub-Zero, the Turtles, and Hellboy. And Hellboy has been one of my favorite DLC characters to play as because Hellboy is one of my favorite comic book characters that is not Marvel or DC. So this is one of those like fighting games that I love playing. I really enjoy playing. I even play with my cousin every time, and I always beat him. It was so funny. In times he does beat me in the game. We always had like a great time playing this game. So yeah, if you love Injustice, the first Injustice, the sequel will definitely not disappoint you. All right, number 7 is the game that I did play as a kid, and that's Jaws Unleashed. Jaws Unleashed is a game based on Steven Spielberg's Jaws that makes everyone afraid to go to the water and afraid to go to the beach. When I heard there was a Jaws game for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2 and you get to play as the shark, I was like, whoa, oh my god, you get to play as the shark, you go hunt in the ocean, and you hunt prey. That's brilliant. So yeah, I enjoyed Jaws Unleashed. It's a very good game. I didn't beat the game, but I did enjoy playing as the shark. You know, hunting down all these like beachgoers that tends to swim in the ocean. You can also like fight many bosses like the killer whale, the giant squid, and many other sea creatures. The shark itself actually looks pretty good. Even though the humans in this game, the graphics looks a little hit or miss in my opinion. Like the shark itself looks pretty good, but the human characters, not really. They kind of look weird. They kind of look like those like dated action figures that you kind of see like in the early 2000s or the late 90s. But the rest of the game itself, but it doesn't actually kill the game. The game itself is really, really good. I always love playing as the shark, and the shark itself actually looks really good, looks very realistic, looks like every ordinary great white shark. And we all know that the great white sharks are one of the most like terrifying sharks in the ocean, one of the largest predatory sharks ever. And Jaws Unleashed is definitely the greatest shark game that I played as a kid. If you love sharks, if you love Jaws, play this game. Really. Play this game. Number 6. This is for my father. I hope he's watching this, and that is Hitman Absolution. Hitman is one of those games that my dad used to play. I am a Hitman fan. I thought Agent 47 is a cool character. Hitman Absolution is one of my favorite games in the Hitman franchise. I did like the graphics in the game. I do like the mechanics. I like the controls. Agent 47 himself is such a badass. He does not play around. He doesn't tolerate any stupidity, and he is the guy that you do not want to encounter. Because if you bumped into this guy, you're done. You're just done. So one of my favorite missions in this game is when Agent 47 fights this big muscular guy named Sanchez, and when he tortures him by breaking his arm to figure out where Victoria is. It is so brutal, and you can tell that Agent 47 does not joke around. Like, he would definitely will kill you if you don't give him the answers. And Agent 47 has been like one of my favorite anti-hero characters in video games, and he is and Hitman Absolution is one of my personal favorite games in the series. If you're a Hitman fan, go play this game. I totally recommend it. Alright, we're almost done. Coming at number 5. It's going to shock most people, but my number 5 is Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, I know Shadow the Hedgehog is not received very well when it comes to critics when this game came out in 2005, but for me, I enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. I thought it was a really good spin-off to Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog has been one of my favorite characters in the Sonic franchise. So when I heard that he got his own spin-off game, it really caught my attention. And then you play as Shadow when you had to like figure out, you know, about his past by getting all the Chaos Emeralds whenever you like, on the good side with Sonic and his friends, or you're on the neutral side when you're by yourself, or you're on the evil side when you're helping Black Doom to eliminate humanity. The graphics doesn't look that great, but I wouldn't say it's ugly either. I did like the idea where Shadow was like using guns and he becomes like a genuine badass, which he pretty much kind of reminds me of like the Sega version of the Punisher, because that's what he pretty much reminds me of when he got all these like different like knives and guns to like fight the monsters or even fight humanity, where I was like, are you secretly the Punisher? Really? But I enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog, despite that the graphics kind of looks a little hit or miss, and the controls, you know, does feel pretty loose, especially when it kept like slipping. It's more like work than just like having fun, but it doesn't really bother me, honestly. I don't have any problems with this game. I did have a great time playing Shadow the Hedgehog, and if you're a Shadow fan, I would say play this game. I think people and Sonic fans really need to give this game a chance. It's definitely not that bad of a game. It's definitely not as awful as most people would say. So please check it out and give it a chance. Number 4 is a movie tie-in game, and it's not the only movie tie-in game that I'm including on this list, and that is Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. I cannot believe that I'm talking about King Kong. I am a huge fan of King Kong. When I played the King Kong video game for the Xbox, I really enjoyed it. I got this game when I brought it from Blockbuster years before it was shut down. I enjoyed playing the King Kong video game. The first person shooter of this game was also pretty good, but I also loved playing as Kong himself when you had to like save Ann Darrow from the many different monsters like the T-Rex, which was King Kong's arch nemesis. The graphics may not look the best, but they try their best for Xbox and other consoles. The game was really interesting, and the alternate ending where King Kong climbs up the Empire State Building and you get to save him and bring him back to Skull Island, I thought it was a better ending than the actual ending, just like in the movie, because it's so sad and it's so depressing. Because I don't like when King Kong dies. It seems unfair, but that still doesn't stop me from enjoying the King Kong game. And King Kong has been one of my favorite giant movie monsters. If you're a King Kong fan, please play this game. It will not disappoint you. Coming at number 3 is another movie tie-in game, and that is The Golden Compass. The Golden Compass movie game is based on the movie, which is also based on the first book, which is part of the His Dark Materials trilogy. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was good. I thought the TV show His Dark Materials was much better than the movie, but I still have a soft spot for the film itself, and I do think it's one of the most underrated films of 2007, in my opinion. The Golden Compass game, I really do enjoy playing myself. I first played it for the PSP. I did like it, even though the graphics looks kind of a little awkward. But I played for the PlayStation 3, and the graphics were a little better. I did like the platforming where you play as Lyra, and Pan where you do some like platforming like levels, and you do like, you know, solve like clues, and you do stealth stuff. And then when you play as Yorick Burnison, that's where you get to into the beat 'em ups, you get into the bosses, and I thought the bosses were like really like very fun. The acting in the game is pretty good. Even though the original voice actors didn't return, with the exception of Freddie Highmore and Dakota Richards, which they did the voice for, which they did play Lyra and Pan in the movie. I think they did a very good job in this game. The rest of the acting in this game, even though they're not the same actors from the movie, I still think they did a pretty good job like voicing the characters. They almost sound like the original actors, so I definitely will give the game props for that. The platforming was really good. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't very difficult. The alethiometer thing, where you had to like answer like the questions about like, you know, what the gobblers are keeping the children, gets pretty difficult. You had to like look at the symbols on the alethiometer, also known as the golden compass. But the whole game itself, I do think it's very good, and I definitely enjoy the golden compass. So I really hope you know, fans of his Dark Materials will give this game a chance. And yeah, like that's all I have to say about the Golden Compass, so go check it out. Alright, coming at number 2, I might be cheating on this, but it's 2 Spider-Man games for the PlayStation, and that is Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. These Spider-Man games I did play as a kid, and they really grew on me, and they brought back a lot of memories. The first game is about Spider-Man trying to find who's responsible for the fog and who's responsible for the symbiote invasion throughout the whole city, while he teams up with other like characters like Black Cat, Venom, Daredevil, Punisher, Human Torch, and Captain America. And then it turns out that it was Dr. Octopus who is responsible for it, especially Carnage. And the gameplay itself is very dated with its graphics, but the gameplay itself, I think it's really good, and it's definitely like one of the greatest Spider-Man games I've ever played in my life. And Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, where Spider-Man has to go after Electro, it's good, but it's not as good as the first one, but it's still a very good game. And you get to fight other villains throughout Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. You get to fight Shocker, you get to fight Sandman, you get to fight Hammerhead, and then you get to fight the Lizard, which is really cool. And we also got to see like a few X-Men characters, not all of them, but you get to see Beast, you get to see Professor Charles Xavier, and you get to see Rogue when you're doing like training. These Spider-Man games, I thought they were really good. It's childhood to me, and I was very proud to play those games. And that was the start where I was like becoming a huge Spider-Man fan growing up, especially when I was watching the '90s cartoon. So these 2 are the Spider-Man games that you cannot ignore and cannot forget. Please check them out, especially if you're in a nostalgic mood. Alright, coming at number 1. And my number 1 most favorite video game of all time is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Yes, you heard me right. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This was the Marvel game that introduces me to all these Marvel characters throughout the Marvel Comics universe. Like, not just Spider-Man, but Captain America, Wolverine, Thor, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, one of the X-Men, Elektra, Deadpool, Spider-Woman, and even one of the villains like Doctor Doom, Winter Soldier, Bullseye, Galactus, Fin Fang Foom, and so many. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was the Marvel game that I remembered playing over and over and over again, and I did not get tired of. This is one of my favorite superhero games I have ever played in my life, and it's also one of my favorite video games of all time. The graphics were great, the voice acting was great, the gameplay is amazing, the boss fights were pretty good, the soundtrack is beyond amazing. I love every single level of this game. I thought it was really good. The cutscenes were very good. I love playing as one of those like greatest Marvel heroes of all time. This is definitely like the Marvel universe done right. It stays true to the comics. All these events that the heroes and the villains are going through just felt very natural in my opinion. This is the game that I definitely will keep playing, especially when the games have been re-released throughout the years. I've always been a huge fan of Marvel's Alliance. So if you're a huge Marvel fan, please go play it. Play this. So yeah, that is my whole list of my top 20 personal favorite video games. Holy crap, that is a big list. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what is your top 20 personal favorite video games? Comment below and let me know. If you love video games, what video games do you like? What video games that you're not a fan of? Just let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, turn on the notifications, and I will continue to make more videos. This is James Hernandez, signing off. Take care.